Carl here from Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial for short. It's album review time, as guess who we're looking at? 2 albums in, and London's Gbrrraaains, purveyors of heavy gloom, have carved out a unique niche in the myriad sphere of heavy music. Their first album, Welcome to Nothing, set the tone for their distinct take on doom metal, which was broadened even further with album 2, fed in a nihilist engine, an epic feast of hard and heavy riffs coupled with brooding sadness, interspersed with thoughtful, transcendent moments of introspection. Gbrrraaains have been doing wonderful work up to this point, and they're not a band who realistically would ever rely solely on trotting out those same doom metal tropes, the ones we know so very well, the ones we expect. So the band have begun to weave in gothic and experimental elements into their music, to delve deeper into the dark shadows of the psyche. Which brings us to this, their third album, Communion. Gbrrraaains continuing their exploration into the ugliness of the human condition, at the same time becoming a band that truly defies the word pigeonhole. Communion will be released on July 15th via New Heavy Sounds. Now, the transformation of Gbrrraaains, while never straying too far from the doom path, don't worry about that aspect, it has proven to be an unmitigated success so far. And here's the thing, based off the quality of Communion, this isn't something that's going to change. This unmitigated success, the stuff they've been doing, this album is just going to further that. It's an album that might very well be, in fact, the best thing Gbrrraaains have produced so far. And it is a combination of who they are as it stands today. It's dark, it's heavy, it's doomy, it's gothic, it's eccentric, and it is experimental. The overall product is one that crawls under the skin and leaves you feeling cold and feverish. It is deliciously dark music, sometimes melodic, sometimes harsh, but always captivating. In fact, although it seems absurd to say, it can often be downright beautiful in a really morbid and twisted way. Don't let the 7-track length confuse you. Each track is a behemoth of everything that makes Gbrrraaains a hell of a talented bunch. Not only that, but this is also them on a creative tear, as a track like Lycanid will prove. A track that is over 11 minutes long and incredibly haunting. Those vocals in particular are like having a drop of ice on the nape. The melody slowly wrapping its chilling tendrils around the mind, meaning the uptick in tempo, a more vigorous heavy portion that comes along sounds even more intense. This one here alone is absolutely star-making stuff, though it is far from alone in being a slice of brilliance. Every single track in this album delivers an experience to be remembered, even something as strange as the industrial fuzz, buzz and atmosphere that is Takanid. I don't even know if I'm saying that one right. Communion is an album that needs to be heard to be believed. Such is the unforgettable nature of exactly what Gbrrraaains have created here. Strong words about to come from me here. It's an album of the year contender, no question. I've always been fascinated by Gbrrraaains. I'm a fan of doom, but I am always wary of the tropes and the expectation of what we know doom is and what we expect from it, particularly British doom. Gbrrraaains throw that all in the bin while still paying homage and treating the genre with respect. They're just bringing their own stuff in. This experimental, eccentric style they have really creates imagery, really fascinating imagery that's not always based on what we know and expect. You're never quite sure what will happen next. So even if it follows a path that's a bit like, okay, that's more in keeping with a doomier kind of thing, you're never quite sure if it will stay that way, and rarely does it. This is a very imaginative, very creative album, and it's one I definitely think you're well worth checking. I also think it's well worth checking out on the basis if you're not much of a doom fan, and you're kind of trying to find your feet in the genre, but always struggle because of how doom is. This might change some of your views because it is experimental and quite unique. It's not too long to go now. It's out on July 15th, so you'll be able to give it your own listening experience. And you know what to do. Check it out. Come back here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?